Station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Breaking now, Dan Snyder is reportedly considering selling the Washington Commanders. The Snyders have hired Bank of America Securities to help them consider potential offers for the team. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining DC News Now at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Our sports director, Derek Forrest, joins us now. And Derek, what do you know so far about the situation, and how would the sale impact the NFL if it goes through?
Oh, it'd be a huge impact for the NFL, Mark. But what we know right now is obviously earlier today, Forbes came out with an article stating that the Snyders have at least 4 calls in with Bank of America in order to sell the team, whether it's selling the entire franchise or having a minority stake within the franchise. That's how things started. Now, Dan Snyder, he's owned the Commanders since 1999. So it's been 23 years as the owner of the team, and obviously has been pushed to sell this team with all the different accusations and workplace accusations that he's been involved with over the last couple of years. But then the Commanders came out and they essentially confirmed the report from Forbes by sending out a statement that says Dan and Tanya Snyder and the Washington Commanders announced today that they have hired Bank of America Securities to consider potential transactions. The Snyders remain committed to the team and all of its employees and its countless fans to put the best product on the field and continuing to work to set the gold standard for workplaces in the NFL. Now, again, we don't know if he's planning on trying to sell the entire team or just a minority stake in the team, but this is definitely, certainly one step in the direction for either or. One thing I would like to say is that on October 18th, just 2 weeks ago, Dan Snyder came out and said that he wouldn't sell the team. So this is the first time since he's owned the team in 1999 that he's even considered a possibility of selling. Mark?
All right, Sports Director Derek Forrest, thank you so very much. Well, breaking now, police are investigating reports of shots fired near Roosevelt State High School in Northwest D.C. This is according to our contributor Larry Calhoun of D.C. Real-Time News. So far, there aren't any reports of injuries, but initial reports say that shots were fired at a student. Well, developing now after 14 long hours of debate, the Prince William County Board of Supervisors voted to approve the PW Digital Gateway project. Hundreds of people testified overnight, debating if the county should build data centers in the area. Our Lex Suarez breaks down what got neighbors feeling so passionate and what comes next.
After a marathon meeting for the Prince William County Board of Supervisors, an amended comprehensive plan passed, opening the door for the PW Digital Gateway project.
Motion passes 5-2. Supervisors Lawson and Vega voting nay.
After 10 hours of public comment, the board approved a highly controversial part of the plan that involves redeveloping thousands of acres near Manassas Battlefield Park into data centers.
After the 10 hours of the public hearing, there was no acknowledgement, no recognition of concerns, questions answered by the staff.
Community members on both sides waited in the administration center all night and morning to speak their piece and support others.
Tired. I think the Board of Supervisors, did a great thing to help pivot and transform Prince William County so we can get some good quality jobs here, commercial tax base.
The 5-2 approval didn't come without debate among board members. Nearly 2 hours of discussion added amendments that lay out limits on permitted noise from the project, preserving history and wildlife in the area, and other environmental concerns.
When I know I'm going to lose votes, I still work to mitigate and try and improve so that it's not as bad.
Yeah, we were encouraged to see some of the amendments that were brought up. I won't lie to you. I think that they provide an opportunity to make some serious improvements on this plan.
And while this vote sets the wheels in motion for the Gateway project, the plan still has to go through zoning processes before any construction can start. In Woodbridge, Virginia, Lex Suarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. Developing now, memorial is growing for the 14-year-old boy gunned down in D.C. this week. Antoine Manning is now the 16th child killed by gun violence in the district this year. Police say gunman killed Manning in a drive-by shooting outside his apartment in Southeast. D.C. Council member Trayon White says that he knew Manning personally and is telling us the violence must stop.
kids, women was off limits. And so this right here is not just ungodly, but it's just inhumane that, you know, we including our kids into this war that's going on in our community. And we got to acknowledge there's a real war going on.
And neighbors say Manning was also shot last month in the same area. A vigil expected to take place tomorrow night at 6:30 on the football field at Watkins Elementary School. Also in the district, the U.S. Attorney's Office says that dozens of felony cases are now in jeopardy. In September, D.C. Police Chief Robert Conti announced 7 officers would put on administrative leave. Body cam footage showed that officers confiscating illegal guns but not making any arrests. That behavior means that these felony cases were tampered with and could be thrown out. Now, this sparked an internal affairs investigation in District 7.
That does not make communities safer when we allow people, in some instances, potentially armed felons, to go on about their business and just recover the firearm.
Well, the U.S. Attorney's Office is investigating each pending case that could be affected. As we mentioned, dozens of guns and drug possession cases could be dropped. The police union is fighting back, saying that dropping these cases will allow for more criminals to be back out on the street. In Montgomery County, after making an arrest in a homicide case yesterday, county police have now closed the books on all homicide cases this year. Officials say that homicides are down 41% in 2022. Assistant Chief Administrative Officer Earl Stoddard tweeted that the department's goal is preventing homicides instead of just solving them. But he believes that solving all the county murder cases is a reflection of the hard work of law enforcement team members do on a daily basis. Happening today, the Federal Reserve is meeting to consider a 0.75% interest hike in a continuing effort to mitigate record-setting inflation. The Fed is expected to make that hike today, and it would be the 4th major increase to interest rates in a row. And while the Fed considers another interest hike, voters have other ideas on how the federal government can help combat inflation. DC News Now's Christy Matino takes a closer look.
In your money news now, a new poll from Newsweek shows a majority of Americans support the idea of a new round of stimulus checks. That poll late last month surveyed 1,500 eligible voters in the U.S. when asked if the federal government should issue new stimulus checks to tackle inflation. Now, the survey found 63% of respondents said they agree, 18% of respondents disagreed, and 15% said they neither agree or disagree. Now, that data comes as inflation reached a higher than expected rate of 8.2% back in September. Right now, there's no indication that another round of stimulus checks will be heading our way anytime soon. In the studio, Christy Matino, DC News Now.